What's going on, family and friends? Welcome to another episode of Inside the Music, the truth about the truth. It is your big homie, the Beast from the East. Yes, it's TC Storm Caldwell, BKA, your big homie Storm E. Weathers, knowing what we do from PHI to NY period, right down 95 South to Hip Hop Boulevard. But right now, we keeping it on the R&B tip, and you are getting ready to tune in with another episode of Inside the Music, the truth about the truth, with this episode's guest, Valerie Ford, right here on MovemRadio.com. What's good, family and friends? Welcome to another episode of Inside the Music, the truth about the truth. I am one of your hosts, the Beast from the East, your big homie, Storm E. Weathers, TC Storm Caldwell, and I am here with my kings that do it best in the West, all the way out there in that Las Vegas Strip, King DC Don DeCosta, King KC Cousin, as well as King K9 the Great, the man that you don't get to see unless you check in all the advertisement for MovemRadio.com. Ladies and gentlemen, sorry to disappoint you, but KC Cousin couldn't be with us this episode because he had a little gig that he had to handle, so we had a little scheduling, but he's going to be right back with us soon. So do your thing, KC. We know how you make it happen. But ladies and gentlemen, we want y'all to get ready for our next guest. Our guest for this episode, our guest is Philadelphia born and raised. She's a backup singer to was a backup singer to talented acts like Billy Paul, Phyllis Hyman. She's an original member of Philadelphia Cream, as well as a couple other groups that we'll get into a little later. But ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I would like to bring to you Miss Valerie Ford. King KC. My bad. He's not here. King DC. King Don, do your thing. Open us up.
Thank you, TC, for that introduction. Ladies and gentlemen, you will notice that there's a very lovely lady in your screen who is better known as another person from Philadelphia. Okay, this is Philly Day for me. It's good thing that I don't know what, we have so many people from Philadelphia, including our host, Mr. TC, but this happens to be Miss Valerie Ford. So Miss Valerie Ford, say hello.
Well, grand rising, grand evening.
Thank you kindly. Now, let's get to what you do and what you're most famously known for in the Philadelphia area and around. You are a vocalist.
Yes, I am.
So explain to us, being a vocalist, when you became interested and how you became a singer.
Okay, well, it goes all the way back to when I was about, I would say, 8 years old. My whole family is musical. My brothers had a band. My sisters and I, we sang together, and we used to give shows to my parents in the living room. Around the same time the Jackson 5 was doing it, we were doing it too. And my brothers, they were traveling throughout, the United States and different places. They were Daybreak at one time, then the Interpreters, and then Sir Charles and the Chancellors. Moving on, the music stayed in my blood. And I never stopped. So I had my own group in the neighborhood. Matter of fact, in our neighborhood, it was so many groups up here in Germantown, and we did a lot of shows. And we would just do live performances like in the school and stuff like that. And so I was in the Challengers drill team. The co-founder, well, actually the founder of the Challengers drill team was Samuel Wilson, and people called him Brother Sam. So he had seen me sing with my group and asked me would I help him put a group together. And so we did. And we were using 2 other girls from the drill team. Of course, some things don't stay together, so different members change. I had left one time and came back. However, we became New Love. And then from New Love to New Love LTD. And Interstate 95 was our band. Our first band was Blue Flame. I'm trying to get this together. But then our last name was Philly Cream. Same group, just different name changes. And we performed.
How did y'all arrive at that name, Philly Cream?
From Alan Rubens from WMOT. They had recording group. They used the name Philly Cream, and our manager had bought the name, and we did a few recordings as well as some of the artists that were on the album as well. So we were actually the visual Philly Cream and became recording as Philly Cream.
So the others were the audio Philly Cream.
Right.
And y'all became the audio visual Philly Cream.
Exactly, as well as recording.
Very good.
Mm-hmm.
So now let me ask you, having been in the business and having started out at an early age,
Mm-hmm.
what did you think about, since your brother was traveling, what did you ladies think about going out on the road and traveling like your brother and his group were doing?
We actually did. We traveled to Puerto Rico. We traveled to Montreal, Canada, and we did the Uptown Theater. We did every bar in the city of Philadelphia. And I was the last female standing, so we started bringing in guys to sing, and so I ended up being the only female as it became Philly Cream. And we lasted for about 11 years, and we traveled all over the world as well. Germany, you name it. We were in many different countries. Brazil, we lived in Brazil for 7 months, did a movie there. We also cut an album there as well. And I just kept it going. After the group broke up, we broke up in 85. And I just went on my own, and I've been traveling for like 35 years.
Well, here's the question. Being that you're out of Philly, how many guys did you have that were singers behind you that were your group?
Okay, at one time it was 3 guys, and then at another time it was 2. But we had several guys that were in and some that were out. It depends on, either the behavior or whatever happened in the group. You always find someone to replace it, to keep it moving. And we kept it moving. We never stopped.
Your group sounds like TC's father's group. TC is from Philadelphia.
Okay.
And his father sang with 3 girls.
Okay.
They were known as the Orlons.
The Orlons?
Yes.
I remember them.
That's TC's dad.
Okay.
And it was funny because they were such an iconic group and I enjoyed their music. I named my daughter after them.
Wow.
But I thought it would be a little strange calling her Orlon. So I removed the R and made it Olan.
Okay.
So her name was Majika Olan.
Awesome. Meet me on South Street, right?
There you go.
I had a girlfriend that used to sing with the Orlons, Miss Tina Billingsley. I don't know if you know her.
Yeah, I didn't know any of them.
Okay.
In fact, I didn't know TC's father, Stephen, until when he came on and we were discussing an artist one day, and he said, well, my father sang with the Orlons, and there was 3 girls, and I went, "Your dad sang with the Orlons? Your dad was the one guy in the picture?" I said, "I wonder how that went, because that's rather tough to have one individual and then backed up by either a whole group of guys." Like Gladys could get away with it because it was her brother and her cousin and stuff. I said, but and he said to me, listen, his job was to make sure that the girls stayed safe.
Yeah, that was true. I tell you, although Philly Cream was like, we all led songs and we all supported one another. We were like family. We never argued. We never fought. We just had an excellent time. Our problem was, as you get older, you learn the business and you find out you're not going anywhere because of management. That's what really broke the group up. We had many opportunities. We opened up down at Club Harlem when that was open for every group that came through there. Sometimes we had to finish the shows for some of the acts. Sometimes we had to open up the breakfast shows, and these are mainstream acts, you know.
Oh yeah, Angela Burton is from there.
I know she is. She knows me too. And you know, we had managers like Maurice, I think what his name, Maurice Starr. He wanted to manage the group right away because he was down there with New Edition. And New Edition, that's when they only had a few songs out. Our management wouldn't let us go with that. And we also had millionaires that wanted to invest in the group. And that wasn't allowed either. But being under contract, what can you do? Right?
That's basically where all the problems come from.
Yeah. So once I found out performing in the casinos, which we performed many casinos down there, I got a feeling of how things really should be and how you should be paid, because we finally had an agent that was concerned about the group. So once I found out how that was and the group broke up, I started booking myself and I started traveling overseas. And I didn't even need an agent because they liked the show, and I just kept getting booked from one show to the next show, to the next show, to the next show. And I found out, you know, people appreciated us and we were paid very well. We were paid very well, which made me very happy too.
And you also learned something too, didn't you? Being that you were paid very well and they kept booking you, you had to know that when you had people that were managing you, you had to know that based upon the money you got as a single individual, that they had to be getting a large share.
Well, that's true. Well, I never really got paid from Philly Cream. It was just a love for me. And, you know, because back in the day, it was like a struggle. You know, you work in the bars and stuff, although I would say Philly Cream was one of the highest paid local acts. We had a base pay, plus we took 60-40 on the door. So we were okay, although I didn't get any money, you know, but I loved it so much. I just stayed with it, you know. I choreographed the group, basically dressed the group. The ideas came from my vision, and everybody was 100% with it. And everybody had input. It was no such thing.
You never questioned where your share was?
I didn't have to. I didn't even care. I just loved doing what I was doing. And I felt that, you know, working the bars and the stuff like that, it couldn't be but so much money. And how many was it with our band? Interstate 95 was at least 7 to 8 people. And then when you add the horns, you know what I mean? And then there's 4 of us up front, you know. So I never questioned that. But yeah, life has been beautiful. I love music. This is what I do. And I basically can walk in the door and I go off the vibe of the people that I work with, if I want to deal with these people or not. I you know, I've sat in with several acts before, and I appreciate all entertainers, vocalists as such, but you have to know where your place is, where you fit.
That's basically true. And which is exactly why I was talking with Robert Groups are a very difficult thing to keep together.
Yes, they are.
Because people don't realize when you have a group, they don't realize how many people are tugging at them. Not only tugging at the group, but tugging at individuals in the group.
Yes.
Trying to get them to come, and they'll tell you, hey, listen, you're the lead singer. There's 4 other cats in the group, and they're actually getting your money because people are actually coming to see you. They're not really coming to see those other 4 behind you. And you can hire 4 other people to do what they do for a lot less money than what they get.
Well, I never really focused so much on money. As long as we got paid what we were supposed to get paid, it was like an equal thing as far as the group, But when I went out on my own, of course, I was booking myself. I hired musicians, took them a long way, and I paid them more than they made with professional groups. They played with a lot of professional groups. I paid them more because I appreciated them, and I also allowed them to show their talent as well. Because I believe variety, as they say, is the spice of life. Why just have me up there singing all night? I could do that because I'm a good entertainer. I know who I am, and they're great musicians. So why not let them have a part of the stage? But then that can become a problem too, because the egos get involved, and then they want to start trying to tell you what to do and not even appreciate what you have given them. I've taken a lot of people on the road. Not one of them called me to this day, but that's okay. I'm alive, I'm living, I'm happy.
Well, it doesn't bother you because one of the things is in this business, one of the things you have to do is you have to be comfortable in your own skin.
Oh yeah,
that's definitely the bottom line. If you're not comfortable in your own skin in this business, you'll do a lot of heartaches.
And it's not important when you're in a group. Okay, if you're hired to be the lead singer, then that's understood from the door. But if you're hired to be a part of a group, I'm a group person. If you sing and lead, I'm going to be behind you, supporting you 100%, and hoping that you do the same thing for me. It depends on what type of situation you get in. I didn't sing with Billy Paul. I've sang with all the way up until Phyllis Hyman's death. I've sang background for her.
Yeah, that was my girl.
Yeah, I've worked with Vince Montana, MFSB, TSOP, played vibes. I know you know Vince Montana. And as a matter of fact, we did Carnegie Hall in New York City with a 14-piece orchestra together.
Well, you know what? Hold that thought 1 minute. We're going to take a break. Let our sponsors show off their products and their wear.
Great.
And we will be right back.
All right.
Y'all heard what the man said. Listen, we gonna pay a few bills, but let me tell y'all something, man. Really stand up. Did you hear all those groups that she put out there, all those acts that Miss Valerie Ford sang behind? Listen, man, there is nothing like it. There was no time like that before when music was coming out of one city like that. Yeah, Motown was trying to roll with us, but it is what it is. But we're gonna go ahead and pay a few bills. We're gonna get right back with this Philadelphia legend, because it's Philly made, Philly played, right here on this episode of Inside the Music, the truth about the truth, with our very special guest, Ms. Valerie Ford. We'll be right back.
What are you doing right now?
Sitting on the couch, playing a video game.
Are you an independent artist?
What are you doing right now?
Are you pushing your music?
Hustling, grinding.
As far as it can possibly push?
What are you doing right now? Doing a bunch of shit that ain't got nothing to do with pushing your music.
What does it take for you to
get off your ass?
Get up off your ass.
Do something real simple.
And send your music in right now.
Get up off your ass, man.
At Movem Radio, it's as simple as that.
Come on! What you doing?
It's just as simple as that.
Mov'em Radio.
You send them,
Send it in.
we move.
That's all you gotta do.
Huh?
Send it right now. You send them, we move them.
Let's go.
In a world where the system don't exist unless it's controlled. On a level like Gates, Trump, Rockefeller, homie, don't you know I'm talking private class jets. Won't settle for less.
Most of all, did y'all first time in here raise your hand? That's what I'm talking about. Y'all enjoying yourself. But I like to say, you see that young man on the wall with that oldie on the wall right there? That's the son of me and Mr. Al Green. He goes like this.
Takes the place of you. Nothing takes the place of you.
I'm so blue because nothing takes the place of you. Let me say, I'm y'all give her a case you don't keep.
All right, and we are back. We are back. Before we went to a break, Miss Valerie Ford told us all the different acts out of Philadelphia that she performed behind and sang backup for. Man, let me tell you, there's nothing like the talent that comes out of Philly. Man, I'm living proof, but you know, it is what it is. But let's get back to it. Miss Valerie, thank you for being here with us. King Don, go ahead and handle your business. We right here on Inside the Music Truth about the truth on radio.com. Let's go.
Valerie was telling us about doing a concert with a large orchestra. So we're going to let her finish that thought so that we can hear exactly what it was and where it was. So Valerie, the floor is all yours.
Okay. Well, I did the concert in New York City at Carnegie Hall with Mr. Vince Montana, the Vibes man, who played on most of Philadelphia music. And I've also did a lot of recording with him for some of his disco songs that did pretty good overseas as well.
Interesting. I have to talk to my buddy because I have to know. I'm at the opinion that she must know this individual too. I happen to be talking about a lady by the name of Miss Jeannie Tracy.
Okay.
Jeannie Tracy is the lady that sang with Sylvester.
Oh,
and
wow.
she sang with Izora and Martha Wash, who were the Weather Girls and
Yes.
2 Tons of Fun. So,
I love them. I love them. Yes, and I think Vince Montana might have put my name as Nadia on the album because I was in Islam at one time.
Okay.
And my Muslim name was Nadia.
A lot of Muslim. There's a lot of Muslim artists down there in Philly.
Yes. So when I was working with Vince Montana, it was Nadia. And then in turn, I started working with TC Records, which is Tony Camillo. He passed on a few years ago. He was the writer for Gladys Knight's Midnight Train to Georgia. Okay. And we recorded the song, A House Is Not a Home. Valerie Ford.
That's the one that you told me about, that when we take a break and going to play some music for our listeners and our viewers to hear, we're going to have TC go down to our vault and dust off the albums down there and pull that one out and bring it up and let the audience hear what that's like. So we will do that. But aside from that, how did you feel as a solo artist you're a female now. How did you feel about traveling to all those different countries and places?
Well, I always had my own two-piece band. And when I say two-piece band, they sound like a full band. And we traveled together for the past 30 years. So I was already I was comfortable.
Okay.
Hmm. And sometimes I would travel with four or five pieces. I might add a girl or two and a guitar player, depending on where we were going. But for the
Okay.
most part, it was just the three of us. And I got two girls from Philadelphia to travel with me to Korea because that was more military, you know. And then I just kept it going on my own. I mean, I didn't have to worry about where my keyboard player was going to be or my drummer was going to be. They were always on time, very supportive, and we did some wonderful shows.
And see, that's special because I know for a fact when you're out traveling and touring, it can get a little hectic, you
It
know.
could be, if you allow it.
Yeah, and it can get a little uncomfortable. So it's always nice to have people that you can trust, people you know got your back,
Hmm.
so that you know when it's time to move from one place to another, you know they're going to be there. You're not going to be
Yes.
stressing as to where are they. They should have been here by now. You know,
Right.
they know for a fact. They know what you do. They know who you are. They know what you're about,
Right.
and they just there. They're like family. They're
Yes.
they're
And I
they're like
appreciate them so much because we were on the road for a long time. Prior to the two of them, I had like a seven-piece band where I worked all the casinos down in Atlantic City. But when it was time to travel, everybody had something else they needed to do, take care of their cat or take care of grandmama, or wanted to get married. And I was so into my music, I had to get musicians that was ready to go at a drop of a dime, and they were ready all the time.
yeah. You have to find people that are willing and wanting to travel because
Right.
that's not always the case. A lot of cases, you do local things and
Mm-hmm.
you have musicians and singers and stuff that they're fine in a
Mm-hmm.
local atmosphere. But when you
Right.
say, hey, I just got a call, we're going to London, they got an excuse why they can't go.
Right. Can't deal with that.
I don't have anybody to feed my cat. I can't go.
Hmm.
My wife said, hell no, I need to stay home
Right.
because she don't want to be by herself for me to be gone 3 weeks, you know.
Hmm.
So yeah, I know about that. And that's why I said, you know, you basically come into this business, you basically have to be comfortable in your own skin.
That's right. That's right. Once I found them too, we were gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were gone, you know. The pandemic slowed us down, of course, you know,
It slowed everybody down. So
not taking the jab, you know, so
nobody wanted to take the chance, so it slowed everybody down.
yeah.
But in slowing everybody down from traveling, it gave a lot of people time to write and rehearse music. You know,
Yeah.
a lot of people had stuff. Gee, I'd like to write this, but we're out on the road. I really don't have time to write this. And
Hmm.
now everything is slowed down to a crawl where, yeah, you got the time now. Why not use it for something positive that you can go forward with? Because this pandemic ain't gonna be here forever.
Right. That's true. That's true. Well, I do back up for several artists out here. And I spend a lot of time more with my family because I haven't been able to do that over the years. And I really love my family and I appreciate family. That's where I get my strength from.
Well, you spent so much time out on the road,
Hmm.
away from your regular family,
Right.
that in essence, the people you work with become your family because you spend more time with them than you actually do your relatives. So
Exactly.
they are actually your family.
Yes.
You know, I tell you, it's funny because I have a very good relationship and I call them family. I have Tupac's cousins,
Hmm.
Revelation and Ex-Con. And that's what I call them. I call them family. And he said to me, you like calling us family? And I said, yeah, I do. And he says, and we like that. And I said, well, I'm glad y'all do. He said, but I have a question. He says, why do you call us family? And I said, very simple. I said, you can't pick your relatives, but you can pick your family.
You sure can. I agree
And
with
he
you.
said, he laughed and he said, I never thought of it that way, but you're right. I said,
Yeah.
you've got family members. You don't even want to be bothered. You don't want to talk to them. You don't even want to see them. I said, but when it comes to family, I said, we have what we call extended family. Why are they extended family? Because they're just like blood relatives that we love and enjoy. And
So
and I
true.
said, that's why you call them family. Okay?
Yes.
Relatives ain't a darn thing you can do about it. You cannot pick your relatives. You can pick your family.
That's true. That's true. Mm-hmm.
So he said, okay, well, that's what we're gonna call. So that's what we all call each other. There's a group of us and we call each other family. It's me,
Yeah.
him, it's X, it's BB King's daughter, Claudette, and stuff. It's what we call each other. We just call each other family.
Yeah.
And we do that basically, and the reason I call them that is because I can depend on them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just like something that you did when we were supposed to have a guest and that guest bowed out, and you said, well, hey, I'll do it. And that's why I call them family, because if a guest bowed out, or if I needed, hey, in fact, we just did this. I have a thing that we're doing called Brother to Brother.
Okay.
We also have a thing called Black Men in Charge.
Mm-hmm.
I put together the thing for Brother to Brother. The guy that I had do the music is a guy called Terry Morgan. Now,
Okay.
Terry Morgan was the original keyboardist and writer for the song Cutie Pie. That
Oh,
One
wow.
Way did, he wrote that with Al Hudson.
Okay.
So I gave him to do the music, and he called me up one day and he said, we got a problem. And I said, what's the problem? And he said, I needed a rapper on this thing, and the guy that I was going to have do it, all of a sudden couldn't do it and bowed out. And I said to him, okay, I don't understand what your problem is. He says, I need a rapper. And I said, why in the hell did you ask a rapper when you have two of the most iconic rappers that's part of our family?
Mm-hmm.
I said, you got Ex-Con and you got Revelation, both Tupac's cousins. What the hell is your problem? And he said, you know what? He says, I'm stupid because I never even thought of questioning them or asking them. And I said, well, ask them.
Right.
And he said, okay, I'm gonna do that. And that's exactly what he did. And I said to him, that's why we have a thing called family.
Right.
You need a saxophone player, you need a guitarist, you need a rapper, you need a vocalist. Hey, bro, it's family. Pick up the sheet of paper and say, hey, listen, can you do me a favor?
Right.
I'm so-and-so, I'm from so-and-so, can you help me?
Right.
I said, you're not gonna get turned down, because that's why we call each other family. We know we can depend on each other.
Right. That's so important. It's so important in this business, you know. It's so important. But yeah, so being solo, I've learned to love it. I actually love it. All I have to do is depend on myself.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
that's one of the things, because everything else besides the guys you have that you call family that are members of the group, everything else you can bring in.
Definitely.
You can hire backup singers. You can hire extra instruments.
Yes, definitely.
But you know, when you're leaving town, your family's leaving with you, because
That's
those
right.
are the people you can depend on.
Yes. Yes. Mm-hmm. Music is a beautiful thing, and it's very different from the way I come up today. Today is much different, and I'm just old school, and I love it. I'm not going to change that.
I am too. It's one of the reasons I have a company that we write music, we arrange music, and people said, but why? And I said, basically because I don't like the white noise that I hear. And they were like, white noise? I said, first of all, having taken the music part out of schools, you no longer have kids that are learning how to vocalize and vocalization and theory of music. You no longer have kids that are musicians learning how to play music. I said, all of that has been eradicated, and you don't have it. I said, so now what you're having is stuff to make the sounds of those instruments that kids
People
normally
once played.
learn how to play. Okay. I said, so you don't have that. I said, the next thing is you have people that are writing music. I said, the music has no substance to it.
The lyrics doesn't either.
Exactly. Because I said, my wife said to me, how did you talk to a girl back then in those days? And I said, you really want to know the truth? And she said, yeah. I said, to tell you the truth, guys back then when I was a kid didn't have no rap, didn't have a damn clue what to say to a woman. So what did you guys do? I said, that was very simple. Girls gravitated to groups that sang. We took the lyrics out of those songs, and those were our raps. I said, so you had the flamingos with I Only Have Eyes for You.
Yes.
I said, you had my big brother. You had Jimmy Merchant, who wrote Why Do Fools Fall in Love with Frankie Lyman and the Teenagers. I said, all those lyrics that they had in those songs were our lyrics to say to a girl. We had no idea what the heck to say to it, but we figured those guys did because girls love those songs. So we're going to pull those lyrics out, and that was going to be our rap. And she said, you have got to be kidding. And I said, no, I'm not. And you ask anybody that went to school, public school, elementary school back then, I said, and that was our rap. We used what came out of those songs.
And those songs also kept the romance in relationships.
Exactly.
Children, the people today do not know what romance is. They don't know what dating is, or courting a girl, or whatever they, come on, it's been designed to happen this way,
Yes, but that's why the songs have no substance.
There you go.
I tell people, they're like, well, if you're writing music and you have a group that writes music, who are they? I said, well, first of all, one of my writers is Terry Morgan, the guy that helped write Cutie Pie with Al Hudson. I said, the other one, and I ran a program with him. And I told him, I said, Rick, nobody knows who the hell you are. They know your music, they don't know you. And I said, if I play your songs, they will say, oh, I love that song, but they don't know who you are. Right. So I said, we're going to do a show on you. So we did a show. And he's the one that wrote Can't Be Wait for Love by the Whispers. Don't Be Late for Love. He wrote for the Four Tops, Love You All Over.
Love him.
I said to him, we need to formulate a company and go back to what we used to do, writing music like that, because they don't have it. I saw a interview with Stephanie Mills, and she was asked, why is it that you're not recording anymore, And she said, because the writers that write music now do not write music that I like to sing.
I understand
because
that.
There's no substance in it. And that's why I call it white noise.
There you go. Makes a lot of sense to me. Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, because understand, when back in the day, when you had people that were singing like Teddy and Luther, what did we say? Yeah, exactly.
Honey and the Bees.
Yeah, what did we say about their music? Y'all got baby making music.
All of them.
Because when I had my little brother on here and they said, okay, we're going to go to the vault and pull out a song, what should we pull out? And he says, well, let me think. And I said, no, there's no reason to think. I said, go to the vault and pull out that baby making music. And they went, baby make. I said, pull out the whispers. Don't be late for love. And they was like, oh, yeah. And I just said the same thing to Robert Dickinson, who manages the Ebonies. I said the same thing to him. That song that the Ebonies did, they had a whole lot of songs. People made babies to that music. The only thing you can make now to this stuff that they make is you can hold a barbecue.
That's it. Just rump shaking music. That's all it is. And I've felt that way for such a long time. And, you know, you just got to be careful of your words, what comes out of your mouth. And I believe that wholeheartedly, because when we did the album in Brazil, each one of us, the group members of Philly Cream and then the band Interstate 95, we all wrote a song for the album. But our manager put his name on for the writer's right. So, I mean, you know, I said to myself, I'm never writing again, because I just thought this is where I was going to be. And I have not been able to write a song since, because you just got to be careful what you say. I know I can do it if I'm put in the right situation again, but I haven't been able to really get into that. And plus, I've been busy enough to really not even think about it, because I love entertainment. I love entertaining very much. I love interacting with people, and I like intimate, you know, settings as well. But I've been to so many countries in this world. I'm blessed.
You need to go back to writing music. I understand the problem in writing it. Rick, we ask artists all the time, did you do any writing? Yes. Did you get robbed in writing music? Go back to an old friend of mine, Benny King. Benny King lived in New Jersey. I knew Benny real well. And I said to him one day, I said, why did you ever walk away and quit the Drifters just to become a solo artist? And he said to me, I never quit. I said, if you never quit, why did you? He said, let me explain something to you. I was up all night, the night before, and I wrote Stand By Me.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I was taking it to rehearsal for us to rehearse. And he said, when I got there, he said, the manager told me I was fired.
Wow.
And I said, well, wait a minute. How the hell could you be fired out of your own group? And he said, very simple. He said, back then, he said, and you have to know this. He said, back then, there was stuff in contracts we didn't realize.
Right.
And he said, when we signed that paper, we signed away our writer's royalties to him.
Yes,
we signed away the name of the group to him. They said all this stuff. And he said, and you probably went through it. I said, yeah, you know, you went to a record label and they tell you, here's a contract. We need you to sign this right now. And if you open your mouth and said, well, I need to take this home and let my parents see it.
That's right.
Or I need to let somebody, they tell you, no, we don't have time for that. If you want to record and you want to be on this label, you're going to sign that now. If you don't have time and you can't sign it now, we'll just find somebody else, another group or another individual that can come in here and do it. Later on, you find out, guess what? You no longer own the name to the group. You know, the writer's royalties go to him. All these things that were not in your benefit.
That's right. I learned my lesson.
Yeah. So he told me, this is what happened. I got fired. He says, I didn't become, or I didn't leave them to become a solo artist. The manager made me a solo artist. He told me I was fired.
Okay.
And I said, okay, that was the stupidest thing on the planet that man could have done. But it was something that's the way the business worked back then.
Because all managers back in the day wanted to be superstar managers. I mean, like our manager was called the Grand Wizard in Philadelphia because he had the most popular group. I mean, we really were a good group. And we were a group that was local, but we traveled abroad. So they gave him the name Grand Wizard. And it was like everything had to go through him as far as who he would let talk to the group or whatever. It was a power struggle, and we weren't about that. All we wanted to do was make it. But then again, it might be a good reason as to why we didn't make it. The way the music business industry is now, it might be a good reason. That's where I look at it. So I don't regret anything. My experiences I learned from, and I love every bit of my performances with these guys and the girls that were part of it. It was great. It was a great learning experience.
It was a teaching experience.
It was a learning. Yes, it was. It was a teaching experience. And now that I know, and I'm sure there's more that I can learn as I go along, I also had, like I said, the opportunity to sing with some musical greats as well, and I'm happy about that.
No reason why you shouldn't.
And I'm not.
We're going to take break number 2.
Okay.
And this is where we're going to get you to tell us what song we're going to go down to our vault and dust off and pull out so our audience can hear your song.
Okay.
So what song would you like us to pull out?
A House Is Not a Home by Valerie Ford. And you can find it on YouTube.
TC, go down to the vault. You heard the lady. You're going to pull out A House Is Not a Home by Miss Valerie Ford. So go on down to the vault, dust it off, and let's get it out and play it so our audience can hear Miss Valerie Ford.
Yes. I heard the lady. Go down here to the vault, hit a couple of buttons, and I'm gonna pull out this song, right? And this song has several different folks that has done versions of it. But right here on Inside the Music, Truth About the Truth, you get to hear the rendition done by Miss Valerie Ford herself. So stay tuned for A House Is Not a Home by Miss Valerie Ford, right here on Inside the Music, Truth About the Truth. Let's go.
Even when there's no one sitting there. Whoa, a chair is not a house, and a house is not a home when there's no one there to hold you tight, and no one you can kiss goodnight. A room is still a room, even if there's nothing left but gloom. Whoa, a room is not a house, and a house is not a home when the two of us are far apart, and one of us has a broken heart. Now and have a heart. Don't you let one mistake keep us apart. I'm not meant to live alone, no. Turn this house into a home when I climb the stairs and turn the key. Oh, please be there, still in love with me. Oh, I'm not meant to live alone, no. Turn this house into a home. I climb the stairs and turn the key. Oh, I'm hoping you will still be there. I'm praying you will still be there. Please, baby, please be there. You still in love. I said, still in love with you. Still in love with me.
Okay, Miss Valerie. All right. All right. Thank you for that. Y'all just heard A House Is Not a Home by Miss Valerie Ford. She put that Philly tag on it. Y'all know what we do out here. Yeah, thank y'all for staying tuned to hear that with us, man. I really enjoyed that, Miss Valerie. Keep down. What else we got?
I know you love that song. That song has always been a favorite of mine. It happens to be a very iconic song. I
Yes.
call iconic songs that it makes no difference who does the song. I don't care if it's Pee Wee Herman or if it's Heckle and Jekyll. Whoever does the song comes out to being something you want to hear.
Yes.
And when you have an extremely talented vocalist like Miss Valerie Ford doing the song, it's more than enough for you to enjoy. So welcome back after hearing that. And Valerie is going to tell us she wants to do some other things
Yes.
in music. So
Yes.
she's going to hit me to what these things are.
Oh, definitely. You want now?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, I definitely want to get more into jazz. I want to do a little jazz. I've done big band, and I had a great experience with that overseas, and was accepted. And I like it because it's very intimate. So that's another avenue I'm trying to approach. Just, I got to find a venue for that to happen. You know what I mean? A nice professional venue for that to happen.
Okay.
So Philadelphia has changed drastically. It's not much entertainment here unless you're doing talent night, and I'm not doing talent night.
Open mic, huh?
Yeah, open mic. That's what they call it,
Mhm.
But I mean, it's good for people that just want to go hang out, have some drinks, and have fun, and have the camaraderie or whatever. But that's not what I'm about. I'm about the business. I love the business itself.
You like performing, and you like
Exactly.
having an audience and individuals listening to the music that
Right.
either you've created or somebody else has, and listening to your version of it.
Exactly. You're telling a story when you're singing a song. So that's what I like. I don't like just getting up there singing, and that's nah.
It's basically what I say about new artists, and while I call the music white noise.
Mhm.
Originally, old style music that I say has content to it was like a book. It had a beginning, it had a middle, and an end.
Right.
This stuff now, you don't know where it begins, why it begins, how it begins. You're just in a hurry for it to end.
Right.
You know, you sit there, you know, when you hear good music, you sit there and when it's over, you go, wow, it's over already?
Yeah, the experience is so wonderful. I
Yeah.
don't believe I've been anywhere in years and actually sat and watched the show without, okay, I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
I haven't, I haven't experienced that in years,
Exactly. And you listen to good music, and that's exactly it. It has a beginning, a middle, and an end. And this music does not have that, which is why I said we have to go back to making music that has substance to it,
Right.
that has a reason for you to listen to it. My teacher, when I was in school, used to have music appreciation.
Uh-huh.
Find music that you like and bring it in, and we'll play it. And I brought in the Flamingos album with
Okay.
I Only Have Eyes for You.
Uh-huh.
And she said to me, what do you know about these guys that are the Flamingos? And I said, nothing other than they sing. You know how they started? You know where they live? Do you know anything about? And I said, no. And she says, well, your next assignment is going to be finding out where they live, how they got started, and all of that. And to me, this is what started something, because it gave you a reason to read. It gave you a reason to search out information. All of that was learning. So she said to me, well, let me ask you a question. You brought this in, we played I Only Have Eyes for You. Is that your favorite song? And I said, yes and no. And she says, okay, why yes and no? I said, because it's my favorite song while you're playing it. When it goes off, the next song you put on, like Music Maestro, Please, or The Breeze and I, that's my next favorite song. So she said, okay. Write down in your essay why you like those different songs. What is it that makes them in such a way that you have a like wanting to hear that? And I said, okay, we don't have that anymore.
Right.
I'm telling people, listen, when I was a kid, 50 Cent, the school had a thing called GO, General Organization.
Okay.
You paid 50 cents to become a member. We got free tickets to the New York Philharmonic with Leonard Bernstein.
Wow.
You could go see a play, which we did. What the hell was it? With the woman with the umbrella.
Mary Poppins.
Mary Poppins. We went to see that for free. Or if it was a real big time play like hers, it cost you $1 for tickets.
Right.
They don't have those anymore.
Right. Yeah.
So where is it that kids develop a love and a understanding and wanting to be part of the arts?
Right.
What is it that draws them into the arts? Because I don't see it anymore.
Not in my area. These schools, it's up into the public schools as well. But yeah, they took music out of the schools. They took wood shop out of the, home economics, all the things, that gave, kids a future. They took it out. Now you have to pay to learn these things outside somewhere else in another institution. But I want to tell you, I had the opportunity to watch the Flamingos every night at Trump Plaza, because I used to perform after them. They used to perform in the afternoon and I would perform in the evening. So I got a chance to meet those guys. Yeah, before a couple of them passed on.
Yeah.
And they were awesome.
Absolutely.
They were very professional to the very end. To the very end. And the Dells were very professional to the very end. Those groups, I watched those groups.
And those are the groups that I call iconic. And I call them iconic because they're groups that fought the nonsense of trying
Yes.
to pull people out of the group. And they were, when they said they were family, they meant that. You
That's
took the
right.
Whispers. If a guy in the Whispers got sick, which one of them did, could no
Yeah.
longer perform,
They
he
still took
still
care of
got
him.
a paycheck.
That's right. They still took care of him.
Exactly. Which
Yeah.
was totally different from what you have now. Oh, you sick and you can't perform anymore. Well, we sorry to hear that, bro, but you take care.
Right.
You ain't seeing another dollar
It's a
from them cats.
total different animal. It's a total different animal. And it's too much jealousy. Like, I mean, jealousy always existed, but it's just different now. It's like everybody's fighting, like, well, I sing this line, I do this, and I. And it's not about that when you're in a group. When you're
No.
in a group, it's a group, you know. And that's a problem with a lot of the new groups that I've noticed. And I can't do that. I can't do that. That's why I remain a solo artist. I would love to sing with a group. I love harmony. Harmony, I just
Mhm.
love harmony. But we got to have harmony within our vibe, you know. The vibe has got to be harmony too, you know.
My
So
harmony, listening to harmony, always was my girls from the Emotions. You know, Sheila, Pam, those girls,
yeah,
that was my thing. And I used to laugh because they used to like to hang out. And before I met them, I'd see them on TV and I say, wow, those girls are tall, you know.
uh-huh.
And they did a show with Patrice Rushen.
Okay.
And the first thing went off in my brain was, these girls are Smurfs. They're all short.
Yeah.
You know, their brother Joey was the same thing. Joey was short. And I said, the whole family's that way. They're all
The
short.
Emotions.
Yeah.
My keyboard player used to play for the Emotions sometime. Mm-hmm.
And that, see, in there is the thing. We meet so many people over years, like you said, how long you've been performing. We
Yeah.
meet so many people that 10, 20 years later, we run into somebody else that remembers us and says,
Yeah.
hey, how you doing? And you're
Exactly.
looking at them like, who the hell is this? You know? And they're like, I met you back then when
Yeah.
you were doing X, Y, Z, and we were at this particular place and stuff. It's just amazing. You know, I said
And
that to my big brother. He's like, I know you from somewhere. And I was like, yeah. I met you at the theater in Brooklyn when
yeah.
y'all were performing. It was an Alan Freed show. And they don't have shows like that anymore. I tell people,
Yeah.
This cat gave shows. We paid $2 for a show that had Frankie Lyman and Teenagers, that had Lil Richard, that had Fats Domino, Lee Andrews and the Hearts, the Platters.
Yeah.
I said, we got in that damn theater 8 o'clock in the morning. It let out at 6 in the evening.
Wow.
And we paid $2 to get in that place.
I can believe that.
I said, now you can't get a bag of popcorn for $2 in the damn place.
It's crazy. That's why I don't even go to the movies. I refuse to pay that kind of money for popcorn or a soda. I'll just wait for it to come on cable or TV or whatever. It ain't that important to me.
Like I tell people, my day basically is spent with more music because I don't really find anything interesting on TV. If I'm going to spend time doing something, then I'm going to write music and do something that I can get paid for, because I ain't getting paid for that movie.
Yeah, but I do like watching concerts. I love watching concerts. It gives me ideas. It helps me grow.
But that's not a movie.
No,
that's
it's
a
not
concert.
A movie. Right, concert. I love just concerts. I love concerts, But
you're getting something out of it. You're getting musical ideas. You're getting thoughts of theory on how to do something and stuff.
Yeah, I love that. And then I listen to music all day. My brother, he's into jazz, so I'm listening to jazz basically all day long, and learning of different, artists that I never even heard of. different songs, and I'm trying to identify vocals, knowing who they are.
People ask me all the time that they were like, how do you know? And I said, first of all, you have to understand something. As a 18-year-old, my mentor was John Coltrane.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. And I'm hanging out because I wasn't the only one he was mentoring. There was my other brother, Pharoah Sanders.
Okay.
So there were a group of us. I said, and besides him, I said, basically how I got into that was I lived in a place called Queens in New York.
Right.
And two of the people that lived there was a guy called Snooky Young and Clark Terry.
Oh, I remember Clark Terry.
Both of them were trumpet players.
Yeah.
And they played for the Tonight Orchestra.
Okay.
So in hanging out with them, when Snooky moved from East Elmhurst to Bayside, Queens, there were a group of guys that would get together on Saturday.
Okay.
And he told me, you need to come over to my house Saturday morning.
Mm-hmm.
And I went over there Saturday morning, and Saturday morning, there is who? John Coltrane and Count Basie.
Cool.
Now I'm an 18-year-old and I'm like,
wow,
I just died and went to heaven.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
I'm an 18-year-old and these cats are Hall of Fame jazz artists.
Oh, I know what you mean.
It didn't stop there.
Mm.
My sister was a singer.
Mm.
My sister sang with Cedar Walton's trio.
I never heard of them though.
Cedar Walton was a pianist.
Okay.
So one of my good buddies happened to be Freddie Hubbard.
Mm-hmm.
Freddie Hubbard was my brother-in-law's best friend, Stanley Turrentine.
Wow.
He introduced my sister to Stanley. That was another thing with Rick, my little brother. When I said, people know your music, they don't know you. He just does not like having himself exposed to the public.
Right.
But I understand that.
As much as we love the public, there is boundaries. You know what I mean? There's boundaries. But I hope that you'll love the song when you listen to the song, and maybe you can let me know what you got from it.
I shall do.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. So in closing, a younger artist that wants to come into the business, what would you have to say to them?
As you said, they should learn the business. And if they're coming into business, make sure is exactly what you want to do. You know what I mean? What genre you want to sing is what you want to do. You got to live through your music. But basically just know the business. And when you get a contract, yes, have a lawyer help you understand everything in that contract. Do not sign anything you do not understand. Don't let nobody push you into it or rush you into it. Because if they're rushing you into it, it's something they don't want you to see. Basically that.
Okay. Well, people, you heard it here. You heard it from a person that, number one, has been in the business for years and knows what she's saying. And if you listen to this interview, she told you she started booking and doing things for herself. Okay, so she knows the insides and outsides of what must be done and how it has to be done. So in other words, like I say all the time, you need to do your homework. You need to find out about the people that have been in this business, that have set the table for you to come in and join them in this business. Okay, and like I say all the time, like Brother Kenny Polson says, learn the business, figure out what you have to do in this business, because you either learn this business or business will take care of you. So in closing, TC brother, give us your out and take us home. And people,
take care.
Talk to y'all later. Bye-bye.
So long.
I'm gonna take those nuggets and put them in my pocket right here. Those definitely some good jewels that Valerie Ford and King Don gave, referencing back to King Kenny Polson, who was on with us last season, Inside the Music, Truth About the Truth. And let's just talk about this for a second. This business This business is a tough business. So you definitely have to have tough skin, have a good team of people surrounding you, a good support system, and above all else, study to show yourself approved. Because Miss Valerie couldn't have said it even, she couldn't have said it any better. Take your time, learn and see what it is you need to see. Have somebody go through what you need to have read over. If it's something that you don't understand, find a way to get some help. If it looks like it's a bunch of legal mumbo jumbo, there are lawyers and other people out here that will help you. Hey, worst come to worst, go down to a university, your nearest university, go to the law school and find someone that's doing music law, entertainment law, because guess what? Those folks need all the experience that they can get. And who knows, you might find yourself in a position to hire somebody that's fresh, hungry, that can help you get the deal of a lifetime simply because you trusted them with helping you make the right decision on your career. Don't go into the game blind. That was one thing that I learned extremely early. Don't let folks rush you into signing anything, giving you things, making you believe that they're really going to take care of you because it's a business. And the business end of the business is making money. You're the product. You're what they sell in order to make money. You're not supposed to make the money if you're the product. Think about it. When you go to the supermarket and buy food, is the food paying for itself? No, it has to be paid for to be consumed. Is the food getting a receipt or a paycheck for you taking it home? Not at all. But the supermarket stays in business of keeping you coming back to continue putting your money in. And it's the same thing in this entertainment business. Be smart, be educated, be aware, be patient, be patient. Because if you've never learned anything else about inside the music, the truth about the truth, we will give you the inside, the upside, and the downside of this business if you stick around and listen to the people that we're bringing on here to give you those nuggets and those tidbits of information. Miss Valerie Ford, I want to say thank you so much for coming and joining us. Ma, you get nothing but love. Thank you for being a fan of my father's group. Unfortunately, as we know, in some of the business aspects, they have, cover groups, original members, other members, and maybe your friend may have sang with the Orleans, but I believe it may have been with a cover group, but that's okay. All things considered, all things aside, everything has been taken care of. My father's in a wonderful place with the group, the original Orleans, who are still out here performing and doing South Street, Y2C, Mr. 21, Crossfire, all the hits that you know the Orleans for. So thank you for that love and respect for my father's group. And I appreciate you for all that you've done, for all that you and your brother, John Bossman Hall, has done with groups Philly Cream, Sir Charles and the Chancellors, Daybreak, the Interpreters. Thank you so much for being a part of this. And thank you for lending your information and experience. And congratulations on all the money that you were able to make and enjoy doing this business, even though money was not your focus. And that's a beautiful way to come into this business. So with that being said, once again, my name is TC Caldwell, your big homie Stormy Weathers from NYC to PHI down Hip Hop Boulevard on 95 South with the Kings from the West, King Don DeCosta, King Casey Cousin, who wasn't with us this episode, but he will be back soon, and the man with the plan that makes this all possible on radio.com, King K9 the Great. And always understand this, right here at Movem Radio, you send them, we move them. And Inside the Music, the Truth About the Truth is brought to you by Three Pharaohs Productions, MovemRadio.com, Movem Radio TV, Source 3 Entertainment, Studio 204, 176, as well as Stormy Weathers Entertainment. And before we go, always got to give a shout out. I told y'all season 3 was going to be dedicated to empowering our young generation, empowering our youth, and acknowledging the youth, not only in my city, but across the country. This week, this episode, give a shout out to Merle Dobbins Technical High School right here in the city of Philadelphia, North Side representing, baby. Don't get it twisted. The Mustangs, the home of Bo Kimball, the home of my cousin Eric Hank Gathers. Love you, bro. Rest in peace. And all those, and the incomparable Dawn Staley, baby. You know what it is. WNBA champion, college champion coach. Let's go. Always remember, y'all, do the right thing because it's the right thing to do. And if you don't know nothing else, you can always holler at your big homie because he always around. Peace.